Hi, welcome to our webinar for the Admitted Spartans Day for the APIDA Task Force. APIDA standing for Asian Pacific Islander Desi American. My name is Chris Yang. I am the current director of the Mosaic Cross-Cultural Center, and I currently serve as the chair of the APIDA Task Force. My pronouns are he, him, his. And I'm joined here today with Paul, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Paul. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am a cultural programmer for the APIDA Task Force.
Yeah, thank you. We are here today to present some information on some APIDA student support services and answer some questions in our webinar. We are actually re-recording the first part of this because I forgot to hit record when we did this on the day of live. So don't be alarmed when our clothes and backgrounds change halfway through. But we're gonna go through this. To start off with, we do have an introductory video that we created to kind of talk a little bit about these services and talk a little bit about some of the things that we offer. If you want to see that video, you can check out the Mosaic Cross-Cultural Center YouTube page. That's where it's currently being hosted. We're not actually going to show the video in this presentation because we have had some streaming issues with some of the Admitted Spartans Day presentations throughout the week. But we encourage you to check out this video. It talks a lot more in depth about some of the stuff we're going to be talking about here. And hopefully, if you have any questions, they might be answered by them. So check it out. So to start off with, well, Parl, if you could talk a little bit about our organizations.
Right. So part of the APIDA Task Force aims to provide resources and support our student organizations. Luckily, we go to a school that is majority APIDA identifying. So on top of this is not all of our APIDA organizations. We have around 30 to 40, but these are some of our most active ones on campus. And they're all cultural based, but they can also be religion or culture, social culture based as well. So definitely check them out if and when you come onto campus or however fall semester is going to go.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Parl. And we also want to just make sure that folks understand that for a lot of these organizations, they do a lot more than just meet. They have a lot of great programs. They do performances. They do academic support. They provide a lot of resources. So, for example, the MSA, Muslim Student Association, has a lot of information about, local areas if you're trying to find halal meat, where you can get it in the local area, or where you can pray on campus. Or Akbayan does a lot of academic support, tutoring. They have a lot of peer mentorship. So a lot of these organizations we encourage you to join just for student support. So we have here campus events, Parl.
Yes. So as a task force, not only do we try and help our student organizations, we also try and host our events of ourselves. So this comes in a variety of things. It could be like a community event, a cultural based holiday, or just academic workshops, or just gatherings. So for example, like in the beginning of last school year, we threw a welcome barbecue, just sort of kick off the year. And then another thing we did last year that was really cool is we brought on these YouTubers that are really famous called Wang Fu, and that one got a lot of student requests and student support, and it had a really big turnout. We packed our ballroom for that. And then another thing we did last year was we celebrated Lunar New Year, which was pretty cool. And this year we were actually supposed to celebrate Holi, which is an Indian holiday. So we definitely try and bring a sense of community on campus for people who are kind of looking for a home away from home or just support at San Jose State University.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Parl. And then for the other work that the task force tries to do and other ways that campus can support is that we have a lot of academic and student support services that the campus has tried to build in. And I want to preface this with the acknowledgement that even though we have these kind of support structures in place, we definitely need more. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit more. But one of the things that we do have is we have an Asian American Studies department, and we have amazing faculty in that department. These are just a couple of our faculty members, so I don't want you to think we just have three. But we have Dr. Hien Do, who's our chair of the Asian American Studies department. And then we have Dr. Yvonne Kwan, and Dr. Joanne Rondila. And our Asian American Studies department is a great place to go to learn more about the Asian diaspora, Asian American diaspora, learn more about the history and the cultural impacts, representation, and different understandings of who we are and our impact in this country. So definitely encourage that. They also make great mentors and have served as some of our programming specialists as we've kind of navigated through some of the things that we've done on campus. So Hien, for example, and I were able to host a film series for APIDA Heritage Month last year. And then this year, Hien, Yvonne, and Joanne all featured on faculty panels for our podcasts for APIDA Heritage Month. So they have a lot of great information to offer. And then additionally, we have our Asian Pacific Islander Faculty and Staff Association on campus. One of the great things about San Jose State is that, unlike a lot of other campuses in a lot of other parts of the country, we actually have a huge amount of representation for a lot of different Asian heritage and Asian backgrounds on campus. So we have a lot of faculty and staff members who identify in the Asian diaspora, whether it's East Asian, Southeast Asian, South Asian, Pacific Islander. We have a lot of staff faculty members around who serve as kind of mentors or people that our students can go to for support. And APIFSA also does some student support programming as well, including providing scholarships for students to attend leadership conferences in the area, APALI being one of them, the Asian Pacific American Leadership Institute, and as well as APAHI, Asian Pacific American in Higher Education. So these are great opportunities for students to get connected with our community at large. We want you to be able to join this task force from jump. So right when you come to campus, we want you to be able to be part of this work. And I want to make sure that part of what we're doing is making sure that what you can do is join this task force and see the work that we're doing. So we have some ways that you can do that, including following us on social media. We have an active Instagram account, and we're going to be doing continued programming throughout the summer as well, because we want to make sure that we don't lose this momentum. I know that because of how things are right now, things can be a little bit disjointed and confusing, and we want to make sure that folks feel like they're still connected with each other. So I encourage you to follow our Instagram account. That's also one of the best ways to reach me or Parl, is just by DMing us. We'll answer questions through there. And then if you have any questions, you can always email me as well. And I do want to say too, while I have this moment, that right now our community is more important than ever. Um, we are in the midst of this global pandemic, and frankly, part of what's going on is that we have been seeing a rise in anti-Asian racism and xenophobia in this country. For those of you who've been following the news closely, or even not even that closely, I mean, it's pretty easy to see it all. There has been such a harsh rhetoric and accusatory rhetoric and misinformation that's assigning blame and hate toward our Asian communities. Um, and it's even manifested in acts of violence or acts of hostility. And it's in these times when I believe that our community is more important than ever. We really need to look out for one another. We really need to make sure that we celebrate our successes. So, I want to say a huge congratulations to everybody who, graduated, whether it's high school or are eligible for transfer or community colleges. Um, right now, celebrating our accomplishments is one of the most important things that we can do. And celebrating each other is one of the most important things we can do. And I know that for a lot of you, particularly graduates, class of 2020 is not necessarily the thing. This is not necessarily the situation that you were looking forward to, but part of our resilience as Asian Americans and Asian Pacific Islanders and Desi Americans, part of our resilience is that we press on and that we can support each other and help support the work that we're doing. So I want to say a huge thank you to everybody for that. That's kind of it for our prepared presentation. I want a chance to answer some of these questions. So somebody asked a question about Mosaic. I know I mentioned Mosaic quite a few times. Mosaic is our cross-cultural center at San Jose State. It's one of our identity-based resource centers. And one of the things that we do at Mosaic is we engage in diversity and social justice programming. I'm currently the director of the Mosaic Cross-Cultural Center. And so that's why there's a lot of crossover work between Mosaic and APIDA. And Parl knows because she's interacts with our staff a lot and, is part of a lot of the work that we do as well. But basically, it's just a resource center available for students to get support and advocacy and some social justice engagement on campus. So it's a totally different thing from the APIDA task force, but we're all kind of related in the work that we do on campus. So if you're interested in learning more about it, feel free to hit me up. We also have a Mosaic Instagram account, so that's another way you can get in contact with us.
And then just to add on to that, when you walk into the student union, or I don't know if you guys have had the opportunity to come to San Jose State, but inside the student union where like you can chill between your classes, there's a physical space that is Mosaic. So since APIDA, our task force, doesn't have a space, you can find me or Chris there because he works there and I work for him. So that's where we are. It is a space where you can like study, and we do have like a meditation and prayer room, which is commonly used by our Muslim students. So to answer that, that's where we are. And then for the next question, so we were in, the next question is asking about like if there's a way that you can check out student organizations on campus. I'm not sure exactly how they are gonna go about it considering our circumstances, but for us, we were planning on doing an APIDA student org fair. So we were planning on, before this mess, we were actually planning on doing a fair where APIDA-based students could come and check us all out. And we're kind of in the works of figuring it out a new way of kind of doing a meet and greet. I don't know on what platform we're going to do it on or like how the semester is going to go, but there is a TBD on that. And
I can answer that a little bit more too.
okay.
Student involvement is technically the department that all the student orgs are under. And student involvement is working on kind of a large scale, like virtual camp club day kind of a thing, where folks can see all the different orgs next fall, even if it's online or through a virtual medium. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And I can say, that the APIDA task force, we will still be doing an organization, like an APIDA organization, like fair of some sort next
Yeah.
year. So we will still be doing that with the orgs that we have good relationships with. So those are the folks that you saw on that previous slide. And that's not all of them. That's just kind of the most active ones.
Yeah.
But that includes like Akbayan and Japanese Student Society and Sikh Student Association, Indian Student Org, Chinese Student Association. So those organizations, we will still be doing some sort of a virtual org fair next year as well. There's a question that's being raised about field trips. That's a good question. We actually have done a couple off-campus programs. One of the ones that we did last year that was kind of fun was we had cheap tickets available for the Oakland A's Filipino Heritage Night,
Great,
and
yeah.
folks could buy them at a discount and go together. It was kind of a block ticket sales. So that was fun. We've done programs in the past where we've gone off campus and gone to like a show together or a museum together. So if you have any ideas about stuff that you want to do about that, definitely let us know, because we're definitely interested in doing those kinds of programs.
And then when we mention programs, I think we're referring to, because the question about what do we mean by that? We're mostly referring to the events we throw. So like if we throw a resume workshop, we call that a program, or if we bring on anybody, that's a program, if that answers that.
Yeah, for sure. So to elaborate a little bit, one of the reasons why we do these programs is because we really want folks to have a chance to really meet each other and talk to one another and form community bonds.
Right.
It can be kind of overwhelming to be on a campus where you have so many different APIDA identified students that you don't even know where to begin. And part of the beauty of our campus is that we have such a wide variety of folks, and that sometimes makes it difficult for folks to kind of get lumped together, right? So we want to try to make sure that we can address as many different identities in as many different ways as we can. And that's not just ethnic identities, but also our international students, also people from different majors or different career paths. And we want to make sure that we have a chance for folks to kind of interact with one another. So we do try to do these programs where folks can come out and meet each other and hang out and build community outside of a classroom. Parl, I don't know if you want to share a little bit about, being part of the task force and like planning these programs and going to these programs and what that's meant for people that you've interacted with.
Well, I guess I joined the task force because I'm really proud of my heritage and I'm really proud of my culture. And sometimes it's always been hard for me to like find that community on campus. So when I found out there was a job like this, I was like, of course, that has me all written all over it. And so I applied. And in doing so, I feel like the people that do come out to our events and do see our programs are like grateful there's somebody on campus advocating for them and kind of making it a home away from home for a lot of people. So I know the events we throw are meaningful and they have purpose. So like for example, when we hosted Chinese New Year, I knew that it meant a lot to a lot of people because they never thought that their family holidays or their cultural holidays would they would get to celebrate it away from home. So I know that something like that is meaningful, as well as just like meeting people who have similar backgrounds to you and understand your struggle and understand what your family's like. Definitely like a dope thing to have friends or have a community within your culture, somebody with similar culture. Mm-hmm. So that's what it meant for me. Yeah.
So there's a question that someone posed about how often we meet. It kind of depends on what work we're trying to do. I think last year we were pretty active as a task force. And that was like, we probably had about 3 meetings a semester, something like that.
Yeah. Or like we have like one main event a month, 1 or 2 main events a month.
Yeah. So just to be, you know, transparent about what we're trying to do in the fall, what we're really hoping to do is do some assessment work that the administration has asked us to do with you all, with our students, with our staff and faculty. And so in order to do that work, we're probably going to ask folks to meet, um, you know, in some form or fashion to do that work. And you know, if we are meeting in that way, we're going to try to make sure that everybody has a chance to meet. So we'll probably have some sort of online alternative for that as well, but have a way for folks to be able to meet. So I could say for me, you know, like what Paul was saying about making sure that um, the work that we do, the programs reflect kind of our cultural identities. You know, I think one of the things that's really clear is that um, even though we are in the heart of the Silicon Valley in San Jose, and we have so many different Asian Pacific Islander cultures here in this area, um, we sometimes take it for granted and don't realize that there are things that we kind of don't see in an educational setting. You know, the fact that you know, we might not have more authentic Asian food than Panda Express on campus or stuff like that. And that's not to be critical of our campus, but that's just going to be true for any campus you go to. And so part of the work that we do is trying to make sure that folks feel like we're trying to authentically tap into the ethnic heritage of our students. You know, like when we had Holy scheduled for this year, even though we had to ultimately cancel it because of the quarantine, you know, people were super excited about Holy. And you know, people are very excited about having, you know, food like samosas and gulab jamun on campus that people could eat. People were excited about like sitting down together and celebrating together. You know, same with Lunar New Year, like Parl had said. People were really excited about a chance to have the Lunar New Year. Like people came dressed in red clothing. You know, we gave out red envelopes. And you know, those kinds of celebrations are meaningful to us, you know, and we want to make sure that there are campus celebrations like that happening on a consistent basis. So part of what we want you all to do when you join us is to help us plan those things and put them on and celebrate your heritage. So we are at 5:30, so I do want to say thank you so much for joining us for this panel. Parl, do you want to?
Close it off.
Yeah.
Well, good luck on you guys' first semester at San Jose State. We're excited to have you. I hope that it's not always going to be on this online platform, but regardless, congratulations. And hopefully you can come check us out. Our Instagram is right in the slide right there again. And yeah, that'll be all for today. Hope you guys can check out everything you need to check out and excited to start your first year at San Jose State.
Yeah, definitely. And like I mentioned, we're not done. We're going to be doing programming for the rest of the school year into the summer. We're going to do engagement work on our Instagram. So make sure you follow us. Make sure you check it out. We're still have stuff we plan on releasing, including a watch along podcast with Spirited Away that's coming up soon. Paul and Sharon, our program coordinator from Mosaic, are going to be releasing a conversation they had on Bollywood music. So you know, we have some great things coming up, and so we want to make sure that you all stay connected. I know that right now it's hard to feel connected, so we're gonna make sure that you know, you all are taken care of. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good day.
Bye.
Hey there, I know we haven't talked in a while, but I can't help you turn that little frown to a smile. Sit and talk in your car, singing out to the stars in the moon. your coffee brown hair, the way that you bite your lip when I catch you staring at me like I'm the only one in the room. Yay, she buys me strawberry cheesecake on the weekends just so she can see me again. And she's so